Hey guys, this is Krystal Lee Moore Lucier, also known as your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor, Krystal Lee Moore, and this is Realtor Life, a fun and entertaining look at life in the trenches as a realtor and entrepreneur in Ontario. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. So today we're going to talk about movement, stillness, and momentum. So what do any of these have to do with being an entrepreneur? I will say they have everything to do with being an entrepreneur. The first thing we're going to talk about is movement. So as many of you know, I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins, and Tony has frequently in his Personal Power 2 or in his UPW programs, he talks about how motion creates emotion and how movement is key. So if you've ever been to, there's some low-level ones where they make you get up and there's energy and people love it. But Tony Robbins, I would say, is the king of this. So if you ever go to a Tony Robbins event, you will find yourself on your feet, jumping around and just kind of dancing and moving. And his whole philosophy is that if you're just sitting there, you're not really locking any information in, and you can't really grow if you're just sitting. So getting up, moving around, moving your body, it really does bring you into a kind of a peak state. So one of the things that I learned early on was that you can't really wait to get motivated to move, because it's the movement that will motivate you. So if you're just feeling blah or overwhelmed or stressed and you just can't really find the time to go to the gym, go for like a 5-minute walk. I was at a really cool seminar conference type thing last year, and we were talking about the concept of forest bathing. So Neil Pasricha, who wrote the Book of Awesome, he talked to us about this amazing philosophy, and I believe it's from Japan, but it's forest bathing. So the idea is you go and walk in nature, and it lowers cortisol levels. The fresh air, the foliage, the whole thing is beautiful. But he also talked about like what happens if you want to go walk in nature, but you don't live near nature and you don't really have the time to do that every day. So you could go for a walk and you could listen to some soothing music. You can check out YouTube for a video of walking in the woods, and you could kind of put on the treadmill and just pretend you're walking in the woods. Keep those eyes open though. I don't want anyone to fall off the treadmill. But the idea is that you're just getting yourself into the best state you can. And that's going to be for your clients, for your family, for your friends, for yourself. The whole thing is just to be your best you. And how are you going to do that? As an entrepreneur, we've talked about this before, you are the resource. You are it. So if you're not at your best, guess what else is not going to be at its best? Your life, your business, your interactions with clients, your sales, all of that. You have to be at your best. So movement is key. Now, you can do it in any way you want. You can go and do yoga. You can do this forest bathing. You can go to the gym. You can go for a walk. Really anything that you want. And that's the best part. This career is all about customizing your life so that it works for you. And a lot of the time, we'll get into a situation where it's working against us, or we forget the whole reason that we became entrepreneurs was for the freedom of being able to choose, and then all of a sudden your business is running you. So the movement is very important, and however you want to do that, I find that sometimes it's important to make sure you're doing it for the right reason, and what better reason than your health and your well-being. But maybe it's going for a walk with friends. I'll give you a great example. I went to see family last weekend, and normally when I have a visit with friends, we'll kind of sit around, or we'll go eat, and that's fine. That's great. Nothing wrong with breaking bread with friends, but we decided that we were going to go for a hike. So we went for a hike. So my husband, myself, and a friend of ours, we went for this beautiful hike, still talking, still visiting, but while moving. And I will say it was such a great experience because you still get that bond, but everyone's moving and just feeling great together. So versus sitting and just eating or having drinks, like you really are just getting the best of both worlds. The other thing too is to remember that when you're moving, everyone has different times that they have epiphany moments. For me, it is on walks. So when I'm on a walk, if I'm not talking with a person, I'll listen to an audiobook or do a call. But on those walks, I get these great brainstorm ideas. And I don't know what it is. Some people have great ideas in the shower. Some people have great ideas at the gym. For me, it's if I'm moving. So something about the elliptical or going for a walk, and I'm in peak state for ideas. So try those, especially if you're dealing with you're looking for a solution for a problem. I remember back when I was trying to figure out if I could get an assistant, I had this great idea that we are often led sometimes by fear. And as an entrepreneur, sometimes the fear of hiring someone is that it's one thing for you to know that your future is in your hands. So if somehow it doesn't come together and you struggle to pay your bills, that's you. You can figure it out. You can do what you need to do. If you're all of a sudden in charge of someone else's future, oh my goodness, that's just terrifying. And I was trying to figure out a way through this issue. So if you're dealing with this issue right now, or you know someone that is, you can share this little thing that I figured out. And I decided to start paying my assistant before I met them. So no assistant existed, but I thought, okay, here's my budget. I'm going to start putting that money aside into an account and see how it feels. If all of a sudden I can't pay my bills or my electricity gets shut off, then maybe I'm not ready for an assistant. And you guys can guess what happened. Nothing changed. It was fine. It was absolutely fine. It was just another expense. I put it aside, and within a month I had an assistant. So it was just fighting the fear. And sometimes the fear is exactly what that is. So when we say movement, sometimes it's just moving into action. So it could be that you're physically at the gym moving or walking, but it also could just be that you're taking a step towards what you want. And taking that step sometimes is what makes everything come together. So that is the movement part. Now into stillness. So we are so overstimulated as a group right now in society. It's crazy. We're all addicted to our phones. We're addicted to short bursts of information. And I'll say, I notice it with our kids. It's hard to get everyone, and I say not just our kids, us too, but it's hard to get everyone in a situation where we're all focused on something for an extended period of time without the phones. We have to bring our conversations with us. We'll have, for some reason, scrolling on YouTube while something else is on. And maybe you can pay attention to both, but I can tell you our brains are not feeling great about the whole situation. We have more people with ADHD right now than I think ever before. And I mean, it's almost like we've built this situation where you have to be bouncing from one thing to another. And when you're not, it feels weird. And I think as parents, we can help our kids figure it out. But as adults, we also have to figure it out for ourselves, because this whole idea that we cannot be still, we cannot be without stimulation for any period of time. That's why I think yoga studios and meditation studios and the Calm app and all of these things are important, because we just need to take a break. I used to joke all the time that my favorite part of kind of travel is the plane. When you're on the plane, all of a sudden you can't help anyone with anything. So you have to take a break. It is all about you. You are entertained, you nap, you eat, and you do it in a cycle until you arrive at your destination. But you really, it's very freeing. And as an entrepreneur, we care so deeply that it's not that you couldn't turn your phone off, but would you feel okay? And that's the thing. I think it's important to take time away. You want to make sure that you've covered your business with a colleague, but just to take time, because you need, again, to be at your best. So in stillness, so whether maybe it's a 15-minute meditation, maybe it's half an hour. I find a lot of these meditations, it starts to panic me. If it's 45 minutes, I'm like, who has 45 minutes just to sit there? But short bursts, I think, are a good way to start. I will sometimes, whether it's just trying to kind of listen to some music, because I got into the habit, I love learning, as so many of us do, but I got into the habit of learning while I exercised. So if I'm on the treadmill, if I'm on the elliptical or walking, I'm either listening to an audiobook to learn or I'm reading a book. And sometimes you just have to not be accomplishing something. So sometimes it's just about you, and you can listen to music. Like, isn't that great? I started playing guitar, so that's kind of my time where I'm just doing something for me. I'm not learning anything. I mean, I guess I am, because I'm learning to play different notes, but I'm not. It's a different part of your brain that's just relaxing. And same thing, I noticed it's been a while since I've been able to sit and watch a movie. And a lot of the time we try and like fit in these little bursts. So whether it's a show or tiny clips on TikTok or YouTube or like the shorts, and that's great, but what's it doing to our brains? So I kind of decided 2 weeks ago, I'm going to watch a movie a week. And that sounds so strange. But I rewatched The Notebook. We watched Defending Your Life with Meryl Streep and Albert Brooks. If you haven't seen it, it is a classic. Heads up, some of the cultural references are not, they wouldn't stand up to today at all. But Meryl Streep always does. She's amazing. And we also watched a silly movie too. We watched Fired Up and another one called Upgraded. The point is just, there's times when you just need to unplug or just focus. And so I'm trying to teach my brain that it's okay to do something for an hour or two. Nothing's going to go wrong, especially on a Sunday. Like on a Sunday evening, you really shouldn't be working. If you work as much as we do, you should try and take some time. Ideally, take the whole day. If you can't take the whole day, take some of it. So that's the stillness part. And then momentum. So a lot of the times what I hear from people, because I do a lot of mentoring and I run coaching groups and mastermind groups, and one of the biggest issues we hear is that like some people are starters and some people are finishers. So if you are a starter, you are so good at starting things and you're fired up. It's awesome. And then you end up with a whole bunch of unfinished things because starting things is way more fun than finishing them to you. On the other side, we have people who are finishers. They love finishing things. Now, neither one is better, because people that love finishing things will have a harder time starting things because they know they have to finish it. And sometimes finishing it means more than finishing it really well. So regardless, whatever camp you're in, or maybe you're a hybrid, remember, go through your goals and figure out, what do you want to start? Like what makes sense, and what are you going to do now? Like what are you going to do this month even? And maybe it's going to be you're going to pay down debt, or you're going to save for something. Maybe it is going to be that you're going to finally get organized on a geographical farm area for marketing. Maybe you're going to start doing videos for your business or do a podcast like this one. Maybe you're going to work on a book. I will say, like, I have outlines for 3 books, and I just need to create the plan. But that's the thing. Once I start, I know I'll have to finish, and I don't have that time yet. It's coming though. I'm like in the final stretch of my MBA, and I am excited for some time, which I will probably fill with other things, as we all do, but I'm hoping that I can get these books done, at least first draft, so I can then edit them. But the momentum that we get, and this is where no matter which side you're on, whether you're a finisher or a starter, checking off small things, it's like the compound effect from Darren Hardy or the Kaizen way. When you start building up little accomplishments, it gives you this drive of energy, endorphins, and it makes you want to accomplish more. So a lot of people, we have our lists and we love checking them off, and checking something off your list is legit. Like it's a very good natural high. And sometimes we'll put things on the list that, you know what, we already did. We've already done it, didn't have a chance to write it down. We will write it down and check it off because it feels good. But things like that, like those are momentum builders. And that's kind of goes into that movement, that taking action. When you start doing things, you'll start doing more things. So, and you want something that's tangible. So with our businesses, like with Buffini and Company, we, with our coach, what you do is you know what you need to do to win the week. So if you are not in coaching, I do suggest you go in coaching. But if you're not in coaching, you just pick it yourself. So winning the week for me is that I have to call 41 people. So 41 conversations. That can be a phone call, it can be a text, it can be a video, it can be voice to voice. But I have to connect with 41 individuals. And I also have to write 15 personal notes and give out 10 pop-by gifts. Now, anyone who's not Buffini, a pop-by gift is a little gift. So I have kind of customized them so that they're just small. So what with me, you get gum, candy, chocolates, a cleaning cloth, a pen, hand warmers, really like whatever I get. I will brand them. Either I'll get them from one of my promo people, which is amazing, or I've gotten my marketing people to do stickers for me, so I'll put my sticker on it. And it's a little bit more fun than giving someone your business card. You can also do bigger pop-by gifts. So sometimes we'll have a campaign where we can drop off yard waste bags or windshield washer fluid or flower pots or whatever. Like literally the world is your oyster. Whatever you feel like doing, just do that. And what happens is as you're building, you win the week, and then you can win the week twice and then 3 times. And you really just start building this momentum, and all of a sudden, poof, you have built all of this success because you've been sowing the seeds and now you're reaping the rewards. That old sow what you reap adage, very important and very true. So, and then you always want to update your goals and update what your activities are going to be, but it really does come down to momentum. And so those are the 3 things I wanted to share today. So movement, very, very important. Stillness, equally important, and building momentum. So as always, I'm Krystal Lee Moore Lucier, your home sweet home 519 realtor, Krystal Lee Moore. I'm so happy that you joined us today. And if you have any questions, keep them coming. I'm always happy to help, and I hope you all have a great day and stay safe in that eclipse.